I think coming into this year's Mobile World Congress, I think the industry overall's aligned on, we need to do more mobile, and I think when you see the Unilevers and the Mondeleses and the Nestles of the world putting heavy investment into mobile initiatives, that indicates that people really are pushing hard in this direction. So I feel like we've kind of moved past the mobile vortex of the confusion and now kind of moving into a time when people will invest quite a bit. I think there's still some fundamental issues out there. I think one of the biggest challenges that brands have is, do they go down an app route, or do they stick with a browsing experience? And there's been a lot of debate over that over the last couple of years. But if you look at the information coming from the US, 80% of consumers are going through apps, and if you go to China, that number is even more extreme. So it's pretty clear that most people are using apps. There's about 1 million apps out there. People only put about 41 apps on their mobile phone, and of those they only use 8 on a daily basis. So I think the real challenge for brands is, given that statistic around the 80%, what role can they play with apps or within apps? And I think probably the answer is often more in the latter, of trying to look for opportunities to embed themselves into existing apps. Simple things like Facebook, for example, or Google, but also the emerging Internet of Things of other types of apps related to automobiles, or your refrigerator, or Nest, or your well-being and your health. So look for more of that in the future. I think there's a much more sophisticated understanding of the role that mobile plays for brands, and more importantly for the consumer across the journey. So yes, there is definitely an increase in mobile media spend. It's at 1% of total spend right now. That's growing pretty significantly. In fact, pretty much all the spend is going towards mobile, with the exception possibly of online video, which is still desktop oriented. But beyond that, it's also looking at the way that mobile can be a connective tissue between, for example, television and online. So looking at things like Shazam, and we've done a deal with Shazam recently, Audio Plus, or Twitter, the relationship between the social bounce you get on that platform and TV, or outdoors. So it's not just mobile media spend, it's also looking at different ways to exploit mobile across the whole journey. One of the big issues of mobile over the last year or so has been the difficulty with analytics and targeting. In simplistic terms, what are the results that you're getting off of mobile? How do you correlate that with spend? And second issue has been around targeting. How do you target people across multiple screens? And I think what you're seeing in both areas is progress. In the former area, we've got a lot of not only qualitative research, but also proxy data and direct data that indicates the correlation between actually spending money and a result. And I think in particular, as mobile commerce grows over time, there's more of a direct correlation, right? In simplistic terms, if you see an ad on your mobile phone and you then buy on your mobile phone or your tablet, it's fairly easy to track that. And then I think in the targeting capability, whether that's by ID, which obviously Google and Facebook and Microsoft and Yahoo are all looking at ways of creating single ID targeting, or again the usage of proxy information, or some of the tools that we have, for example, within Xaxis for multi-screen targeting. It's getting much more sophisticated. It's not perfect, we're not totally there yet, but it's definitely been a major improvement.